Guys, if you don't, I mean, we're just so honored to collaborate and partner with the most amazing people. And there's something that's powerful after being in this business for 15 years. Here's the truth. You're going to have people come and go. All right. You're going to have people quit. You're going to have people that are really close with you not be on the same journey, whether it's because of life or things or whatever. Right. And it's a reality of that. So when it comes to loyalty and somebody that is really staying the course of the course, rare and few are they. And when you find them, and here's just a tip for everybody, like wrap your arms around them, like really pour your life into them because that's not many that are out there. And Pam Middleton is one of those rare and few people that we're proud to call friends and family and so much more, and an incredible leader. She's been with us through ups and downs and all arounds, and her journey and growth and everything has just been so amazing to see as well. And she caught us at the tail end because today, what I want to talk about, and thank you, Pam, for that kind introduction. If we haven't met yet, my name is James Zhang. I'm out here in Macau, China, and tomorrow is actually the kickoff of the Macau Partner Co experience. Today, we spent some time to go do a walkthrough. So tomorrow, me and Beck are going to be on stage. The day after, I'm going to go on stage. And then the following week, we're going to Japan for their Partner Co experience, representing and sharing and everything. And there's just so many cool things that are happening. But the biggest thing while we've been on this trip and we're having a lot of fun and all that is we're spending a lot of time just reflecting. And sometimes, who here's ever found that if you just take a little bit of a mental breather and you're able to just get perspective again and just things just start hitting you again, right? I think it's important to have there's different rhythms in life. And I just want to honor also all of our incredible leadership that's been holding down the fort, whether it's our amazing moderators on this call or the Zoom hosts or the prayer warriors or every single person that's plugging into this. I've caught every single IPA, and it's only been it's only been a week, but who here feels like a week feels like a month here, right? It feels like forever. A lot's happened already. So just thank you to every single person that stepped in and stepped up. And it's just the greatest joy to see you all thrive and just do amazing things, you know? So just honor every single one of you. Well, my goal is to come on today is as we're reflecting and we're putting together our speeches and we're just thinking, all right, where did we come from? We were just mind blown by how much has really happened in just these last couple of years. And it was so dramatic that I talked to the leadership and I'm like, can I like butt in for a little bit and just share this? And thank you, Pam, for letting me use some of your time as well too. But my goal today is to share with you some information that is not at all meant to edify us at all. Our number one heart is always how do we make sure that we can help you win? We're in a mode right now where we're obsessed about creating 100+ six-figure earners in our company, right? We're obsessed about becoming $100 million sales organization. We're obsessed about this team continuing to be one of the most incredible teams in the world, which by the way, you guys are the talk of the town. Everyone talks about you. Everyone talks about what you're doing. Like, because when people say James and Becky, it's not us. We're just a representation, right? We're grateful to be in this collaborative. And what I realized is if you master some skills, you're going to get a customer, you're going to learn how to recruit, you learn how to just drive this business a little bit. If you work really, really hard without a system that's duplicatable, what you're going to find is that you're going to get capped at a certain place. For us, that was around $1,000 a week. Now, I know for many of us here, you might be thinking, I do anything for 1,000 a week, which is great income, right? But if you want more and then you're stuck, that's never a good feeling, right? But I just want to promise you, anyone, if you roll up your sleeves and you just work hard, you can make $1,000 a week. You can even make a six-figure income with a lot of hustle and a lot of work. But we realized that we weren't just only looking for that. We had big God-sized goals. We had determined that we wanted a certain type of life. And I want to ask you guys this question as well as, what is that dream for you? What does life and success look like? For us, it's freedom. For us, it's choice. For us, it's flexibility. For us, it's We wanted to be able to travel and spend time with our kids and be able to have fun and work, but also not only work as well too. Who here wants to enjoy the fruits of your labor while you're building your empire as well, right? And what happened was Partner Co. launched in 2022, 2023 actually, not even that long ago. And it was shortly after that that is when we then stumbled upon a system that we decided to use. Up until then, it felt like we were just trying to do whatever it took to move the business forward. But then, and let me share with you a screenshot here. This is back in 2023, at the tail end of us making a recommitment towards our dreams and saying, we're going to work hard. And this was basically the average and the best that we could do. This is in July 2023. This is the month of July in 2023. So notice timestamps and everything. So in that month, we made around like $3,400, which, I mean, it's not bad, but that's not like crazy money, right? That's like, okay, that's not income that we can go back to our parents where we went to UC Berkeley and we were supposed to be doctors and be like, guys, look what we did. You know, it's like, we knew we needed a lot more. But then in August, what was particular is that we got introduced to this system of growth. And a system is something that everyone can do and it will generate results. And I want you to look at what happened. Remember, we've been saying this, and you hear this on the IPA calls as well. This business is a 90-day business. Okay, put 90 in the comments if you're still with me. This business is a 90-day business. So you have to really do something intentional, then see what happens, right? So we saw the system of growth and we're like, you know what? Let's go try this thing out. And 90 days later, so this is July 2023, 90 days later, what you see is that we went from $3,475 that month to $8,500 that month. We doubled our income in a 90-day period. And it wasn't that we were working harder at all. It was that we were working smarter. And I want us to really think about this. You see, in your business, we're all in different places in our business, right? First goal, you drive to ultimate. Who here's already ultimate? Put a U in the comments. You want to max, you want to have top pay, you want to go ultimate, right? Then from there, awesome. Congratulations. You're not ultimate, you want to get there ASAP. From there, you want to drive up titles, right? You go manager and director. And, you know, I see Matt, our newest director here, for example, Matt and Jolene, vice president, all these you want to drive to. But really, the big test, and I want us to really understand this, the first two lines in your business, which as you build your team, build two lines. Two lines is enough for $14,000 a month. But those first two teams and lines are your biggest testing period. For some people, they clear right through that. That wasn't the case for me and Becky. Who here feels like you're kind of one of the slower people that are out there? Everyone else is racing ahead. You're kind of just taking your own sweet time. You know, that was for sure us. You know, we felt like we were the tortoise. And what's so funny, if you notice the chats, is pretty much almost everyone feels that way, right? Isn't that funny? Even in Alison Britton, who is like doing some amazing things, we all think that we're going slower than our potential, which is kind of a healthy thing, right? Not a bad thing. But the reality is those foundational periods are so important. And I want to make this really, really clear. Becky says this all the time, that work always works. It either works for you or works on you. Here's the truth. Remember, I said back in 2019, we made a redecision to go build this business. We spent a lot of time building a lot of foundational work. We were just sitting in front of Tim Sales, and I remember I went up to him, and he's one of our good mentors and friends, and said, this crazy thing's not working. He said, it does work. It's just the pipeline. Get a person in front of the presentation. And I challenged myself to go talk to 1,000 people, right? Just to go talk to 1,000 people. I'd never done that before. Not many people got started from that, but I did the work, right? Then we had a period in 30 days. We made a commitment. We said, we're going to go show 300 presentations or 200 presentations. It goes, yeah, that works. And we did that. And 20 people got started, one of which is Tammy Egbert here, right? We did so many different things. Then we had to figure out, well, we tapped out of a warm market. So then I had to go experiment in other ways to generate leads. And TikTok was not a thing back then that anyone really did, but we tried. I did 300 TikToks. None of them generated any leads. There's so many times that I hear us say to ourselves, man, I tried that business and it didn't work. Here's a truth that I really want everybody to have as a standard. It's going to take way more. This is truth. This is okay if I'm truthful and honest with you guys. Okay. It's going to take way more effort and time and energy than you originally anticipate to break through. Okay. And it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that you need work. We need work. I needed to learn how social media worked. I needed to learn how to make a reel or a TikTok. And it took me a long time. But then once that cracked the code, well, then I enrolled 150 people in 1 year through TikTok alone through cold market. But it took me failing forward and going through the do to actually move on that, right? It all works. Here's another truth that I think we hear that and we feel like it's a grind. But you know one thing, because we were reflecting back, and for so many years we were struggling financially. Like we weren't in our financial best space. And we were renting office turned bedroom from my mother-in-law as a married couple, right? Like that's not the most brag-worthy thing. But here's another really important truth I want as a main takeaway from today, that if you can't find joy in your work at the current income level that you're at, you're playing it wrong. You see, we're reflecting back, and I'll show you the check stubs and everything that happened. Yes, we're able to travel the world. Yes, we're able to do cool things now. But if I'm to be very honest with you, we were just as happy when we were dead broke, because we learned that there was joy in the work that we do. Right? Like the purpose of your work is not to make money. The purpose of what we do is to change lives. Who here loves it that you have a product in your hand that can literally change a family's generation? What is it worth to somebody if they found health again? Right? What is it when you talk to somebody? I was at the table that I just shared with you, Habia, who's the Indian leader. She came from a culture that she was put down and women weren't allowed to have any leadership role or choice in their family. And now she has choice. What is it? How do you put a value when you gave a life-changing opportunity to someone that they had no hope and now they have hope? We have the most beautiful business in the world. So find joy in what you do. And you know what is joyful as well? The challenge is joyful, isn't it? Cracking the code is joyful, isn't it? The late nights, what the revolution leaders did to make the Drop Revolution 2.0 and the 90-day challenge. Who here's enjoying that whole thing? You know, that was birthed out of pain. I'm looking at Kelly's face. She's like, we needed this, right? But how beautiful how fun is it to crack the code? You know, I see Charmaine's forehead. I know she's been really excited about the Everglow. I see a lot of your foreheads, actually. Matt's forehead doesn't have wrinkles now, right? Like, the joy is not in the outcome. I really, really hope that this clicks, right? The joy is in the journey. And I say that to you because not long ago, like I'm sure this is just a couple years ago, we weren't making tons of crazy money at that time. It was enough, but we had detached our joy from the outcome, and we just embraced that we were going to be in a journey. We knew we were going to get there. We had big goals. By the way, in 2019, we set goals of making $1 million a year. We had huge God-sized goals, and we wanted it yesterday, but there's always a time and a place for everything, right? But the joy is in the pursuit, the joy is in the growth, the joy is the work that we actually do. If you don't get that, then you're going to be miserable throughout this entire journey. And to be honest, you're probably not going to make it to the finish line because we have the wrong outcomes. Does that make sense? Give me a wave or put a yes in the comments if that's the case, right? So give yourself some grace, have fun. I'm telling you, it's the most fun thing that's ever in everything, okay? So going back to it though, what we then did, so we went through the hurdles and we had to go through that because it built a lot of character and skills and integrity and everything. And that's why if you see now, when we know something and we put something in a system, We know it works because we tried everything else under the sun. When we say that PartnerCo is the best company and comp plan in the world, it is by far the best. When we say we have the best products in the world, it is by far the best. When we say the best systems in the world, we say it is the best. When we say the best leadership and team in the world, come on. We've seen so many different things, you know? No worries, Danielle. You're awesome. Okay, so let's keep on going here. So we implemented a system of growth and we doubled their income in 90 days. And we're like, that's pretty cool now. This is now a 6-figure level. But then where does it go? We kept on doubling down on the system. And by this time, we started to tune things up. If you notice, we're always doing the same thing, but we want to make sure we can do it better, right? We want to innovate. That's why we have Alice onboarding, for example. That's why we have the machine. That's why we're thinking about different ways that we can make. We just updated the scripting. We just right. We have our whole on boards. We have our IPA tracker, and under our IPA tracker, we have put down the daily actions that we need to do every single day in order to actually drive your business forward, right? So all these things we're always getting better. But watch what starts to happen after that. You see, when you focus on your first 2 lines, this 8,000 a month is 2 lines basically optimizing, okay? And you focus on a system that's duplicatable. I want us all to think, how obsessed are you about running your system and duplicating it into the team? Are you making your 2 posts a day? Are you doing one of the drops testimonials a day? Are you doing engagement sandwich, right? Are you driving people to ultimate? Are you using the scripting? Are you using the onboarding? If that's not a part of your obsession, then duplication isn't going to happen. What you're seeing start to happen is duplication. This is what then starts to happen. I'll tell you your future. If you get really good at duplicating a system with whomever that you have and you serve the people that you have well, who here has some customers and teammates that are sometimes a little bit of a headache? Yes. Sometimes you wonder, like, oh my gosh, they take extra love today. All these are tests. God tests. He gives us a little bit to see how we steward that. And once you steward that well, it's like you pass the test. What you start happening is at a certain point, you go from attracting a customer or attracting an excited partner to then starting to attract leaders. You know what leaders look for? They look for systems that work. They look for people that they can trust that have been consistent. And they also look for systems that work that can duplicate for the newest person. Okay. You never know who's watching. Someone said, sorry, Allison. We're all difficult. Ask my wife. I'm a very difficult person to deal with. So after this is October 2023. Then what happened was, this is just around 5 months later, holidays pass. We then recruit our first leader. You know where this leader came from? It came from somebody that was stalking those TikToks I've been doing daily that I thought nobody was watching, that then went over to my Instagram. And because on my DMOs, I'm always looking at my views on my stories. I noticed a person who I didn't notice before enter into my stories, and I decided to reach out. Kelly Smith talked about a training about a new senior officer. They talked about reaching out. I'm not afraid of taking action. I love attraction, but I love action just as much. You can create your own momentum. So I happened to reach out to this one person, and that started a conversation that all of a sudden became one of our top leaders that helped innovate a lot of different systems. We then doubled again. So notice in July to October, we doubled from 4,000 to 8,000 a month. Then this is basically the end of February, March. We doubled again. This is now $17,000 that month. Not too shabby. Then what starts to happen is if you keep on doubling down on the system, you don't forget where you came from and you keep on being in frontline mode. You're constantly sharing the story. You're making your posts every day. You're getting new customers. You're converting them to partners. You're just doing the do and helping others duplicate the same thing. Then it starts to continue to grow. We were looking at this, by the way, because I didn't even know how fast things happen. Guys, things, when they click, happen really fast in this business. Put fast in the comments below. And we say this all the time, but you have to brace for it. Because I'll tell you what the worst thing to happen is if you have fast growth and you don't have the character, leadership, or systems to sustain the growth. We have the best systems in the world, but the character and leadership that comes up to every single one of us to develop, right? And the skills. All right. That's now in March time. Fast forward. This is now 1 year after the first check. In July of 2023, we made $3,400. In July, the following year, just 1 year, that month was $41,680.57. We literally 10x their income in 1 year. Guys, I don't know how you feel about that timeline, but when I looked at that, that's fast. Tell me anything in the world where you can 10x your income like that. Tell me anywhere in the world where you can make 41 grand in a month. It's like, that's $500,000 a year at that point. And the crazy part is because our systems are so dialed in, because our priorities are dialed in, guys, this was during the craziest times in our life. We had a newborn, right? We had so much stuff that was going on. We traveled the most this last year. That was crazy. We still have time for church. We still have time for family. We're not hustling like crazy. We work hard, but we're not grinding. We're doing most of our stuff from our phone these days. And we're able to have life and enjoy it and have great relationships, but also to be able to have great income. That paycheck is a reflection of a lot of people making a lot of money, by the way, right? The only way you make money in this business is if other people make money. And I want to end on one check here, because you might think, is that like one lucky thing? Yeah, Paula, yeah, we have not. Yeah, when I look at this, like, we have not made this type of money we've never made that type of money in our career. We made good money, but it's like crazy how fast it happens, right? But just this last month, we cleared our highest month ever. When a good thing goes, it should continue to grow. And this was just in September, last month. We closed the month at $60,829.13. Guys, we made in 1 month what most people are grateful to make in 1 year. Like, what is this? Like, what? So we're still mind-boggled by this. And you know what happens if you want to know technical terms? These first checks were 2 lines: focus growth and focusing on a system to duplicate. The first 2 lines are the hardest. Senior officer. Once you master those 2 lines, your income takes incremental jumps because you just add on new line at a time. Every new line of business that you have is an extra 6-figure bump to your business. So the difference of this check versus this one was we added 1 more new line. We have 3 lines optimizing. The difference of this check versus this check is we added 1 more line. The difference of this check and this check was we added on another line. But you want to master those first 2 with systems in place and continue to drill that down, and then just watch what starts to happen. And of course, we're always looking for leaders. We'd all love those. But you know what I'm really looking for? I'm just looking for coachable, hungry, ambitious people that want to duplicate the system. I don't care if they're a big leader or not. I just want someone that's willing to apply our system, because anybody can make money with their system. And thanks for the congrats. And once again, the goal of this, I know for me, when I saw stuff like this, and this is why we didn't replay this or anything, because this is a brand partner thing. This is not check flashing, right, to prospects. I don't talk about money much. You know what I like doing? I like living a life where we don't have to flash cash to recruit people. I like having a great product and a great system where we don't have to flash checks to recruit people. But it's nice to know that it actually does work, right? For the brand partner side of things. But guys, many of you are where we were not that long ago. Some of you are us literally 1 year ago. And don't you think records are meant to be broken? Shouldn't things just grow faster, not slower? Because if me and Becky pioneered things, let's just call it that, and we just failed forward with a lot of different things, shouldn't people grow faster as well too? So you know what's going to happen? You're going to see people go from 4,000 a month to 40,000 a month, not in 1 year, but in 6 months. You're going to see people go from 4,000 a month to $40,000 a month in 3 months. You're going to see people go from 0 to 40 grand a month very, very fast. You're going to see people go from 0 to 1,000 a week, not years, but weeks and months. But what is the key? Focusing on a system that can duplicate. My major takeaway today is this. Guys, when we were reflecting on this, we were so mind blown because things happened so fast. And we're like, wow, that's crazy. That we just were so grateful. What was the big difference maker? We had a system that works. That was it. Before we implemented the system of growth that we have, we were stuck at $1,000 a week. But when we implemented the system and kept on doubling down on that and just diligently went towards the massive goals that we had, and we still have massive goals that we need to achieve as well too, that's when things started to change. So I hope that you can see yourself in any one of those shoes because you're not that far away. Like we're all right next to it. Like that's what I just want to express. We're right next to each other running this race. And by the next year, you're going to be ones on the PXP stages flying around the world doing some crazy things if you want to do that, right? Or you're going to be ones cashing those checks and doing some amazing things with that as well too. But have you made a commitment and have you made a decision? I cannot be convinced there's a better comp plan, a better system, a better anything in the world. But have you personally made the commitment that you're going all in with what it is that we have here? Because seriously, if we could do this, you absolutely can do this. Follow the simple systems in place, keep on diving down, keep the faith, because when it clicks, it absolutely clicks in crazy, crazy ways. And I'm just telling you, you're in the right place at the right time for everything. All right.